everyone, Craig Padgick from PadgickOnline.com. I'd like to talk about climate change and global warming today. We currently have a situation where the US and Canada are going in completely opposite directions on this one. So let's take a look at carbon dioxide and global warming. So carbon dioxide is a colorless, odorless gas that is absolutely vital to life on Earth. It is not a pollution. This naturally occurring compound is water soluble and is found in our atmosphere, our groundwater, lakes, rivers, glaciers, ice caps, and seawater as well. It's released from volcanoes, forest fires, oceans, hot springs, geysers, the gills of fish, and the lungs of air-breathing animals, including humans. Plants absorb carbon dioxide and use it as a type of food. Commercial greenhouse operators often use it to increase the health and growth rate of their plants. There's actually an argument to be made that increased CO2 should cause global greening. As the theory goes, global warming, or climate change as it's now being called, is an increase in the temperature of the Earth's surface, meaning land, water, and atmosphere, which is supposedly caused by an increase in CO2 caused by human activity since the Industrial Revolution. Liberal governments worldwide have been happy to throw billions of dollars into research backing these claims, all while defunding and slandering anyone who should dare oppose this narrative. Not surprisingly, the push to accept this view is now being accompanied by calls for more taxes to help fight this demon of climate change. But do the facts really back up these claims? Climate researcher Paul Knappenberg, in a paper published in November of last year, said even if the US parked every plane, train, and automobile and shuttered every factory, the impact on global carbon emissions would amount to little or nothing, making the imposition of a carbon tax useless. Yet onward, liberal governments push. As recently as last month, January 1st, 2017, the Canadian Liberal government, led by Justin Trudeau, forced through his carbon tax program in spite of large numbers of Canadians in angry opposition. Supporters and fearmongers of climate change insist that this is a real phenomena with mass extinction and end-of-the-world type predictions. However, opposition is convinced it's nothing more than a tax grab and a new revenue source for governments who have spent their countries into oblivion. So let's look at some opposing facts. Many scientists still maintain that it is the sun and not CO2 that drives our climate. These scientists state that it is the cycle of sunspots that control the warming and cooling of our planet and not CO2. So what are sunspots? Sunspots have been observed for millennia, first in China, and then with a telescope by Galileo in 1610. We now have a 400-year record of sunspot cycle observations, from which we can see a cycle length of about 11 years. Combining this fact with the discovery of a strong correlation between solar activity and radioactive carbon-14 in tree rings, it has been possible to backdate sunspot cycles for 1,000 years. Sunspots occur when magnetic fields rip through the sun's surface. This produces holes in the sun's corona, solar flares, mass coronal ejections, and changes in the solar wind. Solar wind is the term used to describe the stream of charged particles emanating from the sun. It is the solar wind that determines both the formation of clouds and the levels of carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere. This has nothing to do with emissions from factories or automobiles. This is why in the 15 years prior to 2013, when humans produced 461 billion tons of carbon dioxide, compared to only 302 billion tons in the preceding 15 years, there was no global warming. In fact, the Earth actually cooled despite a massive increase in CO2 emissions. The fearmongers claim a doubling of carbon dioxide will produce catastrophic global warming. But Breed Ryson, the founding chairman of the Department of Meteorology at University of Wisconsin, has stated, "You can go outside and spit and have the same effect as a doubling of CO2. Russian solar physicist Professor Abibalo Abdusmatov, head of the Pulkovo Observatory in Russia, has said, "It's no secret that increased solar activity warms the Earth's oceans, which then triggers the release of carbon dioxide. So the common view that man's industrial activity is responsible for global warming has emerged from a misrepresentation of cause and effect." In a paper published in 2009, Abdusmatov wrote, "There have been 18 temperature drops in the last 7,500 years, which follow periods of natural global warming, all correlating with sunspot activity. Such changes in the climate of the Earth could only be caused by significant changes in activity of the sun, as there was absolutely no industrial effect occurring in those times. The scare that humans are creating catastrophic warming of the planet is based on computer models that claim to represent the real world. This is how it was possible to sell the idea to the public. The models, however, were never able to be verified by historical observational data. And their key element, that carbon dioxide causes dangerous global warming, has been shown to be baseless by thousands of peer-reviewed scientific papers in professional journals. The latest non-governmental international panel on climate change report references almost 5,000 of these. Yet they have been ignored by the news media and politicians who continue to fan hysteria over global warming. Time continues to prove these climate alarmists wrong. The Earth has shown no warming for 17 years despite a continuous increase in carbon emissions. The global warming models have been an utter failure, projecting a scenario exactly opposite to what has actually occurred in the real world. When a theory contradicts reality, it means the theory is wrong. Meanwhile, modern progressive liberals such as Canada's Justin Trudeau are trying to use narratives such as global warming/climate change to push through their socialist policies. The global warming issue has become a front for a political ideology. It's become a tool for increasing government control over our lives while redistributing wealth. In 2010, a leading member of the United Nations IPCC said, "One has to free oneself from the illusion that international climate policy is environmental policy. It's not about saving the environment, it's about redistributing wealth." Global warming alarmism is based not on a rational argument, it is not based on science, it is not based on reality, it is based on political ideology. Hundreds of temperature reporting stations in colder areas worldwide have been eliminated from the global network, so the average temperature appears higher. The same for carbon dioxide measurements. 90,000 CO2 measurements in 175 research papers were dismissed because they showed higher CO2 levels than desired. And various other studies were selectively edited to eliminate undesired or uncooperative measurements. Sadly, the global warming advocates are not disturbed by all of this, because in their view, ideology is more important than reality. Please be sure to share your comments below. I'd like to hear your opinions. Share this video on your social media, and don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't already. I'm Craig Pajic. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.